So first of all, I just want to give a big, huge welcome to everyone for joining our conversation today. And for those of you who are joining us a little bit later, we are going to be talking about the continued development of our regional Winged Beaver clubs. These clubs are really vital. They are, the people who are out there bringing Avon Old Farms brotherhood, the brothers back together across the country and around the world. So today we're going to look at where we are, where we're going, and how we can make this initiative even stronger in the year ahead. Our regional clubs exist for a variety of reasons. One, and first and foremost, is to strengthen alumni participation and engagement outside of campus. We also want to create meaningful touch points that help alumni connect and reconnect with the school. Clubs are here to support school priorities by building a strong, active, and proud alumni network. And our regional clubs help to serve as partners to the Alumni Development Office in broadening our reach here at Avon. So I want to talk about the work we've done so far and kind of where we are and then where we're headed. So first piece is we have been working at strengthening alumni participation and engagement. We've increased regional volunteer interest. We are growing alumni turnout throughout regional gatherings. And we're working towards better alignment between club leaders, council members, alumni, and development members so that we're all singing from the same hymn sheet and we can maximize all of our collective efforts. As part of collaborating with the Alumni Development Office, we're looking at, regular communication with club leaders. We're talking about shared planning of events, communication, and strategic initiatives, and better use of data, class lists, regional clusters, and alumni interests. We want to start this year by setting a baseline. So we're going to be looking at how we're going to measure our progress, and we'll be tracking a variety of different pieces. One, we'll be looking at event attendance and looking at that year over year retention. Are people coming? Are they coming back for future events? New volunteers and ambassadors, so numbers of volunteers that people are signing on and helping us out with, all of our efforts in those cities. Engagement and with communication, so who's communicating with us, trying to measure that. Donor participation, and looking at that also by region, and then overall alumni connection to the school. And that would be through communication, it could be philanthropy, it could be volunteering, it could be attending events. We have set some goals for this year. Our first goal is all about expanding our regional clubs and really developing them. We've identified 5 key priority regions based on alumni density and also by interest of alums who are willing to help, people like yourself. So we're looking at New York, Boston, the DC metro area, Los Angeles, and Connecticut. We want to grow and build and develop these clubs over the next year, and then looking at expanding and adding clubs in other areas like Palm Beach or Chicago, Dallas, and some other areas where we know we have significant numbers of alumni and alumni families. The other piece is that we're looking to recruit local volunteers to serve as leaders. So in your outreach, as you are going out and you're connecting with alumni, getting them to join the group and maybe take on a leadership role and help expand that network even further, throw the net even further. They can talk to people that they know, and those people can talk to people that they know, and by that we'll build over time. Our second goal is to increase alumni participation by 10 to 15%. We plan to do this through consistent, high-quality programming across the regions. We want to leverage the alumni expertise to support that networking, career growth, mentorship as well. So we'll be looking at ways of opportunities we can provide to re-engage and engage alumni in our area. Our third goal is to advance the school priorities. So one is to support the Fund for Avon through alumni participation. We start with friend raising, then we go to fundraising. At this point, we're looking at just getting people back re-engaged with the school, but with the eye on the eventual goal is that they are supporting the school financially of a gift of really any size. It's about participation. Another part of this goal is to connect alumni with students through a career day or mentorship or virtual sessions. As we are going throughout and doing our programming throughout the year, that you out in the clubs are also promoting that as well. So, for example, we have the mentorship program that starts in January. It's a 14-week program. Mentors and mentees are matched based on interest. They meet 6 times, roughly every other week. There are set goals and pieces to the program that they work through. And we need for you to be having those conversations out in your communities to promote that program so that people sign up and take advantage of making connections through the alumni network. We also would like for our club members to help us identify prospective families and to really elevate Avon's visibility in those key demographic areas. Our fourth goal is to establish annual planning calendars for each region, do quarterly check-ins with volunteers, looking at those event goal metrics, attendance, engagement, donor participation, and then at the end of the year, June, we will look at the end of year regional impact summary, like what have we done in each area? What does that look like in terms of numbers? One of the things that I'd like to do today is to do a little bit of brainstorming about future local events. And to get us all on the same page, I thought it might be helpful if we go through a few ways that we can engage with our alums, and then we'll just open the floor and we'll start throwing out ideas. And hopefully this will inspire you guys as you're going through. Somebody might say something, you'll be like, oh, didn't think about that. That's a great idea. We should do it. Or if it could lead to something else that might develop into a more authentic, organic experience for your particular area, because each city has their own personality. First and foremost is looking at networking and career focused events. So that's industry meetups, finance, if you look at finance, tech, medicine, arts, whatever it is that's in your area. We know that New York, you've got a lot of finance. In LA, you've got the entertainment industry. In Hartford, we have the insurance industry. So we know that each area has its own flavor, but looking at ways that we can start connecting alumni for their professional growth. Also, maybe looking at Avon on the Move, so career panels with local alumni speakers when we have maybe faculty and staff and other administration from the school in your area. We'll look to do an event. And then some sort of young alumni networking night. So get everybody connected and really raising the conversation about professional growth. Another area would be social events. That's maybe a social event at a brewery, a coffee shop, or other alumni-owned businesses. So looking to see what businesses do our alums own and how can we support them. Looking at maybe family-friendly meetups, picnics, museum days, hikes, runs in the park, anything like along those lines. Then looking at like a signature community building event. So for example, in February, the date Pope Riddle has her birthday. And so we want to have a unifying annual event for all regions. So on February 5th, which is a Thursday of 2026, we're looking to do an event in all of our locations where we just get people together and to celebrate Avon, but also just to have a social event. We'll incorporate some kind of an AOF toast, a short school update, and like make this a birthday tradition element. Looking at traditions and engagement, like thinking back to your days when you were here, what are those traditions that you would like to see transcend the distance and time and show up in your cities? So we're looking at, regional watch parties for major athletic events. So think about those games like football game against Salisbury, Westy Monday. It could be any of those pieces. Looking maybe if there's service projects or volunteer days where you might want to get the group together and go to a local elementary school and you're going to be painting the wall or working in the garden, like looking for ways to improve your local community, but in the name of AOF. And then collaborative events with current parents or partner schools. So looking at ways that we can engage a larger community of Avon people. So with that said, let's go ahead and we'll all unmute, and I would love to know like what ideas, like what things you think would be fun to do in your area.
Totally, I can start. I think there's always a lot of success when it comes to any sort of like happy hour meetup, something at the car club, and like that had a ton of traction. I was
Mhm.
just checking out the portal yesterday too for like the first time in a while, and I saw that there's like an NYC group, and it was over a year ago. Had posted a picture of when we did the last meetup, which was just at a bar in like on 34th Street, and there was a huge turnout. So I think That's the low hanging fruit right there. Those are easy. And I think those we can continue those. It's just a matter of like where you want to kind of place that, whether it's, I mean, you can pin that to any of these. You can pin that to a social event. You can pin that to a networking event if you want to make it specific for a certain industry. I don't really know how that would be community service, but probably
Yeah,
not
no,
there. But traditions as well. Like you said it, you can do a toast to theodate. So like that's low hanging fruit and those have been successful in the past. So definitely those.
yeah. Thank you, Sam. That's great.
I would agree with Sam. I think anything that gets the alumni out, right? Whether that's, the meetup at the car club or brewery or a watch party. I think all of the items you hit on are very relevant and applicable in this situation. I think it's really just putting pen to paper. Like, how do we execute on them? Like a watch party is fantastic. Or, Avon is about to win a championship game or participate in a championship game. Can we have the people that are in Boston, get together somewhere, someone's house and
Mhm.
watch the event? Like, I think we have a good foundation of what we want to happen. It's just how do we actually get it to happen? The second piece is I really am interested in, you mentioned development for the alums, right? Like everyone is already in their career path, or maybe they're looking for a change, or they want to look at what else can I do outside of my career, right? Like in entrepreneurship. Do I want to look at real estate? Do I want to open my own business? What other alums have done that successfully? And how do we create an environment, an ecosystem where the other alums can come together and pick their brain? Like, how did you do it? What was your first step? So on and so forth. Like, I think that would be huge. Just connecting with other alums that have been successful in their other, side jobs or, other avenues outside of their career paths.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, Aaron, when it comes to switching career paths. Question for you, Ruthann, is there's the Mentee Mentor program. I signed up for that, and that kicks off next year. How does that tie into all this? Because I think that's going to be pretty impactful as well.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that as people take part in the program and also those class ambassadors and club leaders will promote the program. We've had 32 pairs took part first year, second year was 36, and this year we want to hit 50. We know that's only going to happen because you guys are going to be out there talking amongst your friends and your fellow alums. So we're really hoping that you can help us just spread the word and be one more voice with that message of like this is a great way to engage, and this is something you should take part in. What we can do on top of the mentorship program that goes on in January to April is we can host a more casual networking evenings. January, February is a good time because those tend to be a little bit slower months activity wise, where we bring people together with the sole purpose of let's connect, let's help each other.
I have a thought with that as well. And sorry if you guys can't, if I lose service. I think it would be a good idea if we can develop like a cadence. So if you have it broken down into category, whether it's community service or social events, whatever, but can we put a cadence to that so that putting it on the calendar and say, okay, we're going to do a community service thing, once a quarter, right? And then we have that lead time to figure out what that community service event is.
I think Aaron and Sam make great points. The big thing that and I've spoke with a bunch of guys about this as well, things kind of just pop up in like a week or two time frame, and more guys, like people need to make plans in advance. So I think getting out in front of things, like Aaron said, putting things on the calendar, it'll really help with participation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think there can be an element of, it's always not going to fall perfectly on the calendar, right? Some people can't attend some things, but I think a couple of staple events should be on a cadence, and then we can have some ad hoc social events, right? Like within the first quarter of the year, we're going to have this one community service event, but we're going to plan for, three other ad hoc events. Stay tuned for that. Like I think having some structure into, based on those categories when we can expect these things to happen, like the toast to Theatre Poprital, that's going to be an annual thing around, her birthday, right? We know that that's going to happen. But like knowing that's always going to be there, I think would be helpful in terms of increasing participation.
Yeah, exactly. I like that because it just lets people know, oh, this is what we do when we do it. And so then they can anticipate that it's going to happen next year. And I think that's very important. So yeah.
And that folds into your element on traditions, right? Like now this is something that's set in stone that we can look forward to every year. This annual event is going to happen. Unsure where it's going to be, right? But it's going to happen around this time frame.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. That's great. Next steps. Over the next month, I am going to continue to identify regional leaders and confirm baseline event plans. So I'll be in touch with you guys and we're going to start getting some things on the calendar. I think for New York and Boston and Connecticut, and even probably those three, it's a little bit easier to set up events, and we have more alumni in those areas. When we get to Washington, D.C., that's another area where we've got a lot of alums. Because in Boston and New York, you have the T, you've got the metro, like it's easy for people to get around. It's a different story in different parts of the US. Like Los Angeles we have mobility, or like people getting around, logistic issues, and where do you hold it, etc. So one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to look at how many events so that each place should do. Really, for Connecticut, Boston, and New York, I'm looking at 4 to 5 events a year. Down in DC, maybe 2, 3, 4, depending on what we're doing. And then, maybe 2 in Los Angeles. So there is definitely, based on the numbers and transportation in those places, makes sense and what is easiest for people to connect. I am going to continue to develop, and I will share the documents so that we can track progress and then review the data. One of those things is the work area. So every city has their own work area. This is the one for Boston. It is the one that is probably the most developed at this point, but the direction that I'm heading with all of our clubs. So if you look at the bottom, you'll see we've got the confidential list, and that's all alumni contact information, some basic information about them. Then we have college age alumni. So which who's young and living in Boston, but is probably using mom and dad's postal address and is not going to show up on a data pull out of Boston. So we drop them into their own category, and we want to do certain kinds of programming just for those guys. So just getting them together and getting them connected while they're still young, and while they're in school. Then we have the idea list. That's where we have everybody just it's like throwing spaghetti to the wall. Let's see what sticks. And then our fourth tab is the event planning calendar. So that's where we look at the entire year to say, okay, what's happening in February? What's happening in March? What is the plan? Where are we at with the plan? And notes. So that's the direction we're heading with all of these pieces. And I will send out the links to each of you for your work area. And what I'd love for you to do is go in and just have a play around, take a look, see who's in there. And if you know someone, assign yourself to them. Because as we do our outreach, when we did a 5K run in Boston, we really needed the club members to take a chunk of people, 10 to 15 people, and shoot an email out and be like, hey, I'd love to see you. Join us over at the gym. We're going to go for a run to honor a fellow alum. So that's part of it, is in that organization piece where we know who's doing what, and there's not that double dipping, or if there is, then it's definitely intentional. I plan to provide materials, event templates, outreach language, and expectations, and some resources. And that's one of the pieces that I'm going to be working on this year to develop for this particular program as we look to grow this over the next 3 to 5 years into something that's really robust. And so when someone moves to Washington, D.C., they know there's a network of Avonians down there. I don't know anybody. They have instant set of friends that they can reach out to who will help them. I want to thank each of you for your commitment to strengthening the bond that makes Avon so unique. The regional Winged Beaver clubs are an essential bridge for us between alumni and the school. With purposeful planning, clear goals, strong partnerships, we can ensure that every alumnus, no matter where they live, still feel connected, welcomed, and valued with the AOF community. And I know that for me, I'm super excited to work with each of you as we move through the next year. I'm looking to celebrate our successes and all the pieces that will come together for us. And I want to say on behalf of the alumni and development team, thank you for what you do for this community. You are the best part of our day-to-day lives, is connecting with our alums, connecting with our students, and really helping our Avon community to thrive and to grow. I will reach out to each of you with your link to your club. I'd love for you to go in, throw some things onto the idea list or read through what's already there. Look through the confidential list of alumni names, see who you can assign yourself to, and then go and look at that calendar for the year and think about what kinds of events that makes sense for where you live and when they can take place. What I will say is that any events we do, my team needs 6 to 8 weeks notice so that we can put everything into the workflow and get the registrations built, the invitations set up, and all the other pieces that go with that. Before we hop off the call, are there any questions?
No, I think I'm all set. Very well said, and looking forward to working with you as well.
When will we have the next meeting to kind of put this into action with the calendar year?
Yes. So I'm going to reach out. I'll reach out next week. I'll be setting up meetings for each club
Okay, got it.
so yeah, so I'll be reaching out. We'll try and get something on the calendar, like maybe second week of January, when I think everybody's getting back and we kind of get ready for 2026. And then we'll put some time on the calendar, but I'll be meeting specifically with clubs. Once a year, we'll meet, maybe even twice a year, we'll see. We'll meet as a group that all of the volunteers can all see each other and meet each other and know that you guys are all working on behalf of the school and moving the Brotherhood forward. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very
Take
much.
care.
Bye.
Talk to you guys soon.
See you guys.